All right, welcome everybody to another OkieTradez Study Session. Well, I hope y'all missed me. I sure missed y'all. First thing I want to look at is somebody requested in chat today to break down one of my trades from last week. I'm really just focusing on trading these multi-day breakouts and first bounce days. Anybody that's new, just there are videos over the multi-day breakout. There's actually one titled "My Favorite Pattern," and so there's examples there. But there's also first bounce day examples that I talk about in some of these previous study sessions. Eventually, me and Bryce plan on to make us a DVD, something like that, to go over our favorite patterns and exactly how we play them and make it really accessible, probably with some live trades ideally. But MLGO was a pattern that I took, and like I said, I'm looking to focus more on these type of trades until I see the market really heat up. And if we don't have a setup like this to go over, then we'll check out the intraday's action and break it down why I do or don't like it. And so yeah, let's get into this multi-day, actually multi-month here. So let me show you what I mean. From this volume candle and this big spike candle, it took from 6.3 to 6.24. So actually we would call that a multi-week breakout right there, which is at level 15. That's the multi-week high that this set took a couple weeks, gets back up there. And if you notice the high on this day, 6.4 is 15. Normally I wouldn't play a stock that just shoots straight up to a breakout level, but this was just too good. And I'll give you a couple reasons why. The first, look at the high, 15. So you can see the high right here, 15 exactly. So it's just telling you that if it can get over 15, it's going to take off or be the biggest trap of all time. But these multi-day breakouts, I really like them, especially if the volume is really strong. And notice this was a $5 stock that made a run to 15, but look at the volume. And you can see it right here. 135 million on a stock that's that high priced. I mean, that is huge dollar volume. Not to mention, like, if you look, so one of the main things about multi-day breakouts is that I don't want a stock to have a lot of volume in its past. Look at all this history. There's zero volume trading, and that's what I want to see. I want to see a stock that is trading no volume, and then out of nowhere, it gets a big spike day with big volume. That signals to me that, all right, time to wait for a stock that closes close enough to this breakout level that I think the next day it's going to break out. That's how I look at it. So basically, each night I'm going to scan at nighttime when the market's closed, and that's exactly what I saw. I saw that MLGO close at 15, and I saw that there's this $15 multi-week breakout, and it closed so darn close that obviously the next day it's going to try and break out. Now it did gap way down to 12, but that's okay because this stock, look how much it can run. It can run $10 a share, 5 to 15, right? And on this day, it ran 450 to 15, so another $10 a share. Look at this day, this big volume spike, and then a big spike. It went from 850 to 16, so roughly $9 a share. So if I had to guess, and if I say, like, what I always tell people is, you want, if you're when you're trying to find your target on these multi-day breakouts, you want to say to yourself, how much volume does it have the day before? If it has a lot of volume, then it can match, or if it at least has enough volume as the breakout day. See, this day it traded like 100 million, and so this day it also had 100 million, which made me expect the next day it could at least do pretty close to that. So I was expecting MLGO on the day of the breakout to run $10 per share from low of day. But also, I want to talk about another reason why I really was excited about this stock, because like I said, look how far it is from this base right here of $4. Normally I would like to see them build up properly, like set higher lows, etc. But we had this nice breakout level at 1690, which is a multi-month breakout. And this stock is trading huge volume, and it's clearly got this beautiful multi-week breakout at 15. I felt like if it breaks 15, it's gonna break this 17 level, and then if it breaks 17, then it's gonna get to $10 a share from low of day. So where did it open up at on the breakout day here? It opened up at 1224. You can see right here. Watch. 1224, and then if you scoot your eyes over 4 boxes to the right, it went to a low of 11. So just add $10 a share from low of day 11. That gives you a high target of 21. So I knew before I even find my entry that this stock should run to 21. So now let's get into the intraday and how I find my entry and my stop. So I always want to look back at the history of the stock on its biggest running days and see how did it run. So yesterday when it went from 5 to 15 right here, because it broke 15 in after hours but had a huge pullback, how did it do it? So if we go all the way to the open of yesterday, it had a high of day break versus low of day. So if you bought it right there, that was the clearest thing. It pulled all the way back, but it respected low of day, held, and took off. Now, I'm asking myself, on that other day, a month ago, did it do the same thing? If it did, I'm really excited. I'm probably going to take a lot more size even, because it's confirming. Because my main strategy on this is always to buy high of day versus low of day or last best dip. And if I look back at the history of how it runs on its big volume days, and it runs off of a high of day break versus just a straight up spike or something crazy, like spikes up like this and then has a strong pullback to low of day and then just straight breaks high day like that. We don't like that. We want something more that's clean. And notice how clean this is. It's nice and it's not completely U-shaped, but it's, almost like a wedge. You buy this high day, but it's very clear to see high day versus low a day worked a month ago and it just took off. So you always want to notice the stock's history. Pay attention to that. So on the breakout day, the day I was expecting it to break out, right? Let's get into that. So this was the day before, right? And it's gapped down. And here's pre-market now. So we get a spike up, but it's still gapped down because remember, yesterday it closed at 15. So now we're looking to open up around 12. So a $3 per share gap down. But I kind of like that, because if it opens up at the breakout level, then it's probably going to have some troubles at the breakout. But if we open up under it, well, then we got more room to the breakout level to run, and that'll spring us higher once it breaks over it. So I always like to open up under the breakout if it's possible, but not always necessary. So obviously, there's some strength. It runs up to 15, right? Breaks it, but then pulls all the way back down to 12 right before the open. We're getting close to the open now, right? And so let's just zoom in here. So at the open, right? It opens up at 1240 and spikes to 1270 and then closes, or it pulls all the way down to 12 and then closes up at 12.24. So that tells me, all right, at this point, this is high of day and this is low of day. Now I want to see, I need at least 4 candles underneath this one to consider it a high day that I will buy over. So I need to at least be, if this market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, right? And it sets the high day in the first minute, then 4 minutes from then, that means that I can't buy a breakout until 9:34. If you see what I'm saying. So it pulls back, right? So here's minute 1, here's minute 2, 9:32, 9:33, 9:34. So now, since we've had 4 minutes pass, this is a high day that I would buy. And right now, we had a low a day here, but it broke low of day and set a new low a day. So right now at this moment, high day is 1272 and low of day is 1160. So if it just shot straight up from here, I wouldn't buy it. It's way too far. Oh, but it breaks low a day again. Pulls all the way down. See, this is kind of like the thought processes I'm having. Pulls again. 11. Roughly 1110. But this time it sets a new high. Or it makes a new high, I should say. And this is kind of like what I've talked about in some previous videos where you could technically buy right here, but the win rate isn't as good as waiting for the high day break, which would be, again, over this line. So if it came up and broke right here, it would be a V shape, and I don't like to buy V-shaped high days. And again, 1270 versus 1106. I mean, that's just way too wide. I mean, I guess what would be the risk to reward if we are looking for $10 a share from low a day, right? So 1110 to 1270. Let's do the math here. 1270, what's the high? 3. 1273 minus 1110. Or actually it's 11. Oh wait, let's be real specific. $1.65. Okay, so then we would take 21 minus our entry, because our target's 21. So 21 minus 1273, our entry. 827. So then you would divide that. That's the potential gain you can have, the max, divided by your max stop right here was 165. And that gets you 5-to-1 risk reward. So actually, even though it does look really wide, if you do the math, that's still really great risk to reward. However, I do prefer to have tighter risk to reward, and I don't like to buy V shape. So there is that component to it. But we get a red candle, so now we're starting to get some sideways action. But it wants to come up and break high day right here. It shows us this real strength. Now, you could have technically taken this like wedge right here, right? But then it pulls. And I prefer just to wait for these high days, but I need a new stop. So let's get rid of those wedge, or I need a tighter stop. So I got rid of the wedge lines, and now I'm looking for a clear risk level. All right, well, now we've seen it pull once to 1165, and then we see it pull again to the same exact level, 1165. So I'm thinking, all right, can it hold 1165? Because that's a lot better risk to reward. It's only $1 per share. And if it goes up 10, well, now we got 9-to-1 risk reward. I like that. That's a lot better. Almost double what we had before, right? So we're still going sideways. I'm liking how it's going sideways here, holding this 1165. It's respecting it. But I don't trust it quite yet. I need a few more minutes. Okay, it's starting to hold, starting to hold. All right, now I'm really pretty much, like if it breaks high day from here, I'm a buyer. But I may not take the biggest size because it's still a little bit wide and it's kind of happening quick. But then it has this really good pull and it tests this level and instantly gets bought back up and starts to spike. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, all right, now I'm just going to take full size on this. And it keeps going sideways, and I'm very happy with it. And again, this could have been another like type of wedge you could have bought, but again, I want to wait for high day break. And there it is. So make it clean. This is low of day, and this is the last best dip. I thought low of day was a bit too far away from high of day, which was set in the first 1 minute. But this level, which proved itself over time, little double bottom here, got tested, held, spiked off of it really strong. I was confident right here. So I bought it at $12.75, risking $11.65. So basically just $1 a share. That's what I'll say, just to make it simple. It's $1.10 a share, but for simple, we'll say just $1. But look at that pullback. Pulls hard, right? Don't be afraid. You have to just trust that your setups are going to work. So either you can handle the setups, because nothing works 100% of the time. Matter of fact, this one only works about 80 to 85% of the time, but still, that's really great odds, right? But that means 15% of the time, 20% of the time, you're going to be losing. So I know that I'm just going to respect my risk, and so be it if I lose on it. Starts to hold, curls back, boom, takes off. And we're getting up towards that multi-day or the breakout level of 15. Again, our target's 21, right? And I see no reason to sell. It's just, and it halts, right? No reason to sell at all. It's acting strong, holding up. Nice sideways action out of the halt. And then boom, takes off again. Now we're through that multi-week breakout right there at 15. And notice how it just so strong right through that level. So that gave me confidence to really hold towards 21. And then boom, it just takes clean off. Now, when we get to spike up towards 18, I chickened out here. I should have just held, but when it pulled back, I think I got 1760s where I sold right there, I believe. I forget. It's been a couple of days. And you have your target. You can scale out. That's a big gain right there. Check that out. Holds, halts, runs, and then gets right to the 21 target, which almost forgot there. The multi-month breakout level right there was at 17. Notice when it breaks through it, holds that 17 level, curls off of it, halts, and then you get your 21, your $10 a share target. So hope y'all enjoyed that. And then obviously after that, it just completely collapsed. But we've already made our awesome trade. And that's the power of the multi-day breakout, y'all. All right, everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take it easy.